Should Ferrari fire Binotto? You've probably heard this question every now and then, especially during the season. Or maybe this thought just passed through your brain before vanishing into oblivion. All things considered, it's a fair question to ask. This is why in this video, we're going to look through all of the errors Binotto made during the 2022 Formula 1 season, to understand if he truly deserved his place at Ferrari, or if the team needs to get rid of him as soon as possible. So let's get right into the heat of the topic. First of all, let's get some things out the way. Who is this guy, and why does he look like J.J. Abrams? Are they the same person? Unfortunately, we currently don't have proof of this being true, even though we've never seen them together in the same room. What we can say about Binotto is that he was born in Switzerland, but moved to Italy during his life after he got his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. He joined Scuderia Ferrari in 1995 as an engineer in the engine department. He was then promoted to head of the division in 2013, before becoming chief technical director in the summer break of 2016. During his career in engine development, the team was really successful, and he often personally talked to Michael Schumacher about small adjustments that needed to be done to the power unit. Lastly, he was promoted to team principal in 2019 after the previous one, who was Maurizio Arrivabene, decided to leave the team and sport to focus on an Italian football team. So it's safe to say that this Binotto guy has had his fair share of experience. So why is it that the team has been struggling since he got his current place? Well, for one, team orders have been negatively affecting the team. As fans, we all hate seeing battles on the track between teammates being replaced by boring team orders to decide the championship in the garage. The problem is that these team orders are completely legal, and Ferrari plays a big role in why things are like this. During the 2002 season, during just the 6th race of the season at the Red Bull Ring, Ferrari made Rubens Barrichello give up his sure victory in favour of his teammate Schumacher behind him, saying the infamous sentence, "Let Michael pass for the championship." Even Michael Schumacher understood that what the team had done was not fair, which is the reason why he made Barrichello climb the top step of the podium. Since for the FIA team orders were completely legal, they couldn't do anything about what had just been done on track. But since the injustice was evident, they were fined $1 million for podium procedures infringement. That's a big part in why team orders were banned after 2002. Only for them to be reinstated in 2011. This was because it was evident that these rules were not working as intended and needed some modifications. In fact, at the 2010 German Grand Prix, Felipe Massa was given the team radio, "Fernando is faster than you" by Ferrari, and it was obviously a way to tell Massa to let Fernando through. He pulled on the side of the track, letting his teammates still in a fight for the championship win the race while he finished second. As there was no proof that the team radio meant that Felipe had to slow to be passed, the FIA made it legal once again for team orders to decide the race results, even if that is against what fans want. Going back to Binotto, even though the team has always been giving team orders to his drivers, what has happened over the last few years was really disappointing for both us the fans and for the drivers themselves. All the way from 2008 through to today, the level of these team orders has become unbearable. Some questionable choices were made in the past before Binotto became team principal, but since he began working in the position, many races have been decided in the pit wall. Some examples include the entirety of the 2019 season, during which a young prospect going by the name of Charles Leclerc was fighting against an experienced 4-time world champion named Sebastian Vettel. The two were both comfortable in the car, and were always fighting for victories and podiums, in part thanks to their illegal engine they ran for most of the season. The thing is that we can understand that team orders are often necessary in order to keep the championship fight alive. But this was on another level. Since Ferrari knew they were fighting for the WDC, they decided to make one of the drivers give up a victory in favour of the other on a race-by-race context. This meant there was no actual gain for the team in doing this, but they kept doing it anyway. Although this had no actual effect on where both of the drivers finished in the standings, as they finished second, well clear of Red Bull in third, this made tensions in the garage rise up a lot, especially between the two drivers with really different personalities, as they were often discussing who truly deserved a win or a position after the team made them swap for no apparent reason. Their reasoning behind this is that if one of them felt like they needed to be let through, they would just simply communicate that to the other driver. An example was during the 2019 Russian Grand Prix, where Leclerc took pole position, so the team instructed Vettel, who was in second place, to let Leclerc through in hopes of getting a win. Vettel didn't like this at all, so he sent it down the inside into turn 1, overtaking the teammate and leading the race. Later on, Seb had to retire due to an MG UK problem, making the virtual safety car come out and making Leclerc lose the race to Hamilton, who had pitted in these conditions. As you can see just by this one example, tensions between the drivers were breaking out. The problem there wasn't on track though, but it was in the pit wall. Mattia Binotto, as a team principal, should have made the strategies avoid this kind of calls, especially who of the two drivers was the number 1 and who the number 2. That would have been much fairer, since at the very least they both knew what to expect during a race weekend. By doing these weird strategies, they made the two drivers' relationship much harsher while completely butchering any chance they had at winning one of the championships. The same thing happened this year in Silverstone, when after approximately 1,000 wrong strategy calls, Ferrari asked Carlos Sainz to keep distance from Leclerc, not overtake him, and let him win the race so that he would have gotten an advantage in the championship. Of course, Sainz didn't obey the team orders, and who are we to blame him? How can you ask a driver who has done an incredible race to give up his first victory after the team screwed up the strategy so many times that the championship was pretty much over? Apart from this being something we don't want to see happening again, it was really awkward for the drivers too, and we don't really want to see tensions rise again in the Ferrari garage. So, should Ferrari fire Binotto? No, probably not. The thing is that sooner or later Binotto will understand his errors and will manage to make the team competitive again. Of course, some of his personality traits absolutely need to be changed, like when during interviews he blames the absence of wins on bad luck rather than understanding his errors. Make corrections and be sure that these bad luck situations don't happen again in the future. It's important every now and again to take responsibility for your own actions, and the Ferrari F1 team is no different. Furthermore, if Ferrari replaced him, even with the most intelligent and experienced team principal ever, he or she would need some time to get up to speed on the team, meaning some more time without being competitive despite having some of the best drivers. So we hope that by the time a new hypothetical team principal will learn how to manage this team, Binotto will be running the garage like a chef runs his restaurant. The situation that's happening nowadays with Ferrari is the same that happened from the 1990s to 2007 with team principal Jean Todt, when after many years of fighting in the midfield and then suddenly getting a great car, Ferrari wasn't able to compete for wins and podiums every race due to poor strategy calls and due to unreliability. Sounds familiar? Well, this is the same principle that then led Michael Schumacher to his years of domination and Kimi Raikkonen to be Ferrari's last world champion. So we could excuse Binotto saying that what happened over this year wasn't what the team is expecting, but we also need things to change a bit so that the team becomes competitive once again. Are we going to see that? Who knows? If we're lucky, since Red Bull has got much less time in the wind tunnel to test their car, and just like this season, Ferrari could take the early lead and win the championship. We just have to wait and see. So what do you think? Are there any moments we missed that deserves more attention? Will we see these kind of battles in the future, or is F1 destined to fail? Let us know with a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe, because at 10,000 subscribers, we're going to convince a Formula 1 driver to have a fight in the car with us. No, not really, but you should subscribe anyway.